There's only one bug in Vigor that has somehow wormed its way into almost every single firefight it encounters, and overall made the entire gunplay of the game just that much more unenjoyable to the scale that is seen as the ERG bug. The ERG bug, or expanded recoil glitch, also known as the G40 bug, or the simpler name that seems to be catching on much more heavier than these older names, the bloom bug, is a bug that can be found by just picking up the controller and playing a good 5 to 6 minutes of Vigor. So, what do we know about it? How exactly does it work? What can be done to fix it? Where did it come from? And what future does it have? I'm going to cover all of that in today's video. I want to note before I really get into today's video that I have some pretty bad allergies today. You can probably hear it on my voice. It is also pretty hot where I am, so I am in miserable Chris mode. I'm going to try to get this video to be as good as I can get it while in this state, and I am sorry if the video isn't really up to standards because of one of these two factors. But let's continue on. So what is the bloom bug? The bloom bug is, to put it simply, a bug where after firing your weapon in Vigor, the reticle, or the crosshair, or the bloom, gets to a much higher level than it should be. So how really does bloom work is going to have to be the first thing we examine here. When you fire any weapon in Vigor that is a full automatic or a burst weapon, then slowly your reticle should expand over the course of your fire. So if you have a fully automatic M249 or something, then from the start of your fire to the end of your fire, the reticle should consistently get larger. However, when you stop firing, your reticle should shrink back to the original levels. Meaning within theory that if you burst fire or reload, then your reticle should stay small. However, the bloom bug makes it so this is not what occurs. And the bloom bug will make it so that way your reticle or bloom will decrease only slightly after reloading or stopping your burst from the level it was at the end of your fire. This continues to increase continuously, meaning if you take an M16 at the start of the game, shoot it, and just never really apply the quick fix, then its bloom will slowly continue to increase until it is practically unusable by the end of the round. This is obviously a problem, and that can easily permeate its way into many gunfights, as more bloom than expected is never fun. So how do you fix it? Well, it's pretty simple. You melee. Meleeing any gun will reset its recoil back to the level it should be at, and this is actually the easiest way to check if a weapon has been bloom bugged. Fire the gun off for a little bit, melee, and see if your reticle goes back down, and if it does, then you were suffering from the bug. So, all of this points to something that is clearly an issue for gunfights. While, yeah, being able to melee is a nice quick fix that I'm sure a lot of us appreciate, you shouldn't really have to melee after every single firefight, and those of us who don't know that quick fix are objectively going to be put at a disadvantage when this shouldn't be in the game at all. But moving on, we're going to be talking about where does the name that this thing has, as I've been calling it throughout the video, I know it as the ERG bug, bloom bug, and then the different names, as well as really where does this bug find its roots. So originally we need to turn back the clock to probably around Season 4. It could be earlier, and I am not the expert in that regard, and I'll admit that, because way back in those times, the man who first ever discovered this bug is a good friend of mine known as G40 Chris. G40 noticed the bug very early on into Vigor's tenure on the VSS. It was not on any other gun at the time, so it was given a temporary name. You either knew it as the VSS bug, or, more likely, the G40 bug. It really didn't matter what circles you were in, but if you were a G40 fan or an early VSL member, there is a pretty decent chance that you refer or understand the bloom bug as the G40 or VSS bug. Then things kind of got complicated. Kind of like a virus or the common cold. It was like other guns started to catch what was wrong with the VSS. That is the only way I know how to explain it. I know that makes no sense, and that is probably the dumbest thing you've ever heard me say, but that's what happened. Other guns started picking it up, and slowly over the course, all the way up till Season 6, more guns got this bug. This situation, and during this time, where it wasn't quite on every gun, wasn't noticed by the common player, and most of the people who had noticed it were people who do heavy testing like myself, the bug was known as the ERG bug, or the expanded recoil glitch bug. Now I know that's redundant, saying glitch bug, because originally you weren't supposed to go, oh, I just had the ERG bug. You're just supposed to go, I just had ERG. And that was kind of the original concept. A lot of core members of VSL know this bug as the ERG bug, because I've referred to it as the ERG bug for quite some time. I do plan personally to start calling it the bloom bug, because I took a little survey the other day, and I found that the majority of people know it as the bloom bug. Well, this is not an unfair name. Starting in Season 7 and now, the bug pretty much jumped from a cluster of weapons to pretty much every gun in the game. A test done by me and G40 during Season 7 found the only noticeable guns that it's not on are going to be your pistol line and the bolt actions. But even the bolt actions occasionally get a little funky and it becomes unclear. This is an issue because now even single action weapons like the VZ52 and SKS have been seen occasionally having the bug. Another issue with this situation is really repeatability. While on automatics and bursts, it is 100% of the time in encounters you will be able to trigger the bloom bug. You cannot trigger the bloom bug, to my knowledge, in the shelter, most of the time on most weapons in shootout at the moment, and it will trigger on more guns than any other mode in shootout to a higher degree. This inconsistency and variability gets even more complicated when we consider the partner test build, where this bug has never existed in any form. This makes testing and understanding what the bug is close to impossible for most partners and the devs. However, as I earlier noted, me and G40 did in the probably middle of Season 7 sit down and do a very really heavy test over this situation, and we think the both of us have found pretty much the general trend of how the bug works, which is going to be it's on most weapons that do not be 1911s or bolt actions. It is easy to replicate by firing a short burst of any gun, reloading, and then meleeing and seeing if your reticle shrinks. But everything regarding this bug screams that there is something big wrong here. Next. Let's be optimistic here. I've been talking in this whole video about how this bug is a problem for the normal player and how it's progressed from a small problem to a big fucking problem. Where did the devs stand on fixing this? And the answer, we have some positivity here. The devs have put in some input that they believe they have fixed the bug by 9.0. I do not believe this, and don't call me a pessimist if you want, but personally, I don't believe they fixed this bug. This bug is just weird, and as I've been saying, there's so much inconsistencies regarding this. I don't believe that the devs have fixed it. Now, the devs can come out and prove me wrong in 9.0 and drop a big, hurrah, surprise, Chris. But I don't believe that the dev streams fully understood what the ERG bug is. And I think to varying degrees, it's not going to be fixed. Now, if the devs prove me wrong, am I going to go cry? No, I'm going to be happy, and you guys can all go make fun of me in the comment section. But at the end of the day, I don't really see this bug being fixed anytime soon, because it still seems like the understanding of it is low, but I do think they might do a small patch that might fix some of the problems regarding it. Finally, le meta. Didn't want to talk too much about the meta in this video because this isn't really a meta issue. It's more so it affects almost every gun, so it's not really a meta issue. It does affect certain weapons particularly hard, and we're going to be looking at the VSS, the MG class of weapons, and to varying degrees 45 ACP. All three of these would get a massive buff when ERG is fixed. But granted, that buff is going to be felt by every gun. Just factually speaking, M16s are going to be more accurate. SGs and H-bars are going to be more accurate. Shotguns are going to have smaller bloom. I mean, it is pretty objective to say at this point that fixing this bug would net improve the game. So I don't think anyone should be getting their pennies in a twist going, oh no, Thompson meta inbound. No. Just maybe slightly better Thompsons than we already have. But that's everything I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe learned something about this bug that gives us so much shit. Until next time, guys, it's been Christopher Beast. Ciao, ciao.